Discipline is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent. It is about showing up even when you do not feel like it. It is about mastering yourself before the world ever gets the chance to. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone. He ruled the most powerful empire on earth, yet every day, he battled his own impulses, his own distractions, his own weaknesses. He wrote to himself, not to the world. He reminded himself, again and again, to stay grounded, to stay disciplined, to stay free. That is what this video is about. The Stoic path to inner control. To rising with purpose. To doing what you must, not what you feel like. If this speaks to you, do us a small favor. Subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach others like you who need this message. Now let us begin the 10 Stoic truths that will help you stay disciplined. No matter what life throws your way. Stoic truth number 1. You are not owed motivation, only discipline. You wake up, and the silence around you feels heavier than usual. The sun hasn't risen yet, and neither has your will. There's no spark, no drive, no rush of inspiration telling you to conquer the day. And that's where most people stop. They wait for something to push them, to light the fire for them. But not you. Not anymore. Because you understand the hard truth that Marcus Aurelius lived by. You were not promised motivation. No one owes you that. The Stoics knew that the world is indifferent to how you feel. It will not wait for you to feel inspired. It will not slow down until you're ready. The Stoics taught that true strength lies in showing up when your body says no and your mind screams for ease. That's the moment you prove who you are. You put your feet on the ground. You stand up. You move. You remind yourself that comfort is the enemy, not the goal. You weren't born to stay soft. You weren't born to stay hidden. You were born to act, to rise, to do what must be done even when the soul resists. Discipline is not a spark. It is a hammer. A steady, unrelenting hammer that forges your future, one blow at a time. You don't need fireworks to move. You need command over yourself. You need an unshakable reason. A why that doesn't depend on mood or emotion. You are not here to be coddled by motivation. You are here to rise in its absence. To carry your duty like a warrior marching through fog. You do not wait for clarity. You act to find it. You do not seek energy. You build it through motion. The moment you understand this is the moment you take back your power. Discipline is your weapon. And no one can take it from you, not even your weaker self. Stoic truth number 2. Control your mornings or your day will control you. The moment your eyes open, the world starts pulling at you. Notifications. Expectations. Noise. From the second you wake up, life begins its silent war for your attention. And if you do not reclaim those first few minutes for yourself, you lose the battle before it begins. The Stoics understood that the first part of the day is sacred. Marcus Aurelius would write to himself, urging his own mind to rise and meet the day like a soldier summoned to duty. He didn't want to. He was tired. But he knew the discipline of the morning decided the clarity of the day. What you do first is not just a routine. It's a declaration. It tells your mind what matters. It builds momentum. It's the signal to your soul that you are in charge. Not your fatigue. Not the chaos outside your window. Not the endless stream of distractions waiting to derail you. Your morning is where you prepare your armor. It's where you remind yourself of what truly matters. It's not about checking boxes. It's about setting your direction. Whether it's silence, movement, reflection, or breath, what you choose to do first thing carves a groove into the rest of your day. Skip it, and you fall into reaction. Own it, and you lead. The Stoic does not stumble into the morning. He walks into it with intention. With presence. With self-command. Because when you control your mornings, you command your life. And when you allow your mornings to slip away, so too does your power. That is the truth most ignore. It's not just how you start the day. It's who starts the day. And if it isn't your highest self, the world will hand you a version of you that isn't worthy of what you're building. Stoic truth number 3. Comfort is the enemy of your greatness. Every time you choose ease over effort, distraction over discipline, you quietly abandon the life you were meant to build. Comfort whispers in your ear. It tells you to relax, to take it slow, to skip the hard thing until tomorrow. But tomorrow is just a softer word for never, and the Stoic knows that luxury can rot the soul if left unchecked. Marcus Aurelius slept on the floor when he didn't need to. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that hardship was the truest teacher of character. And Seneca warned that wealth without restraint weakens a man more than poverty ever could. Discipline thrives where comfort dies. You don't become powerful by doing what's easy. You become powerful by doing what's right, even when it hurts, even when it's lonely, even when no one is watching. Comfort is not evil. But unchecked, it breeds stagnation. It lulls you into softness, into compromise, into mediocrity. It convinces you that a little delay is harmless. That pleasure is more important than purpose. That life is meant to be easy. But the Stoic knows the truth. Life is meant to test you. And your only responsibility is to be ready. Every act of self-denial sharpens your will. Every moment of resistance grows your strength. Every time you say no to the soft path, you walk deeper into the man you are meant to become. So reject the easy seat. Take the cold shower. Wake up earlier than you want. Sit with discomfort until it becomes your fuel. Because greatness doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in the fire you step into every day. Stoic truth number 4. Discipline begins where motivation dies. You will not always feel inspired. You will not always wake up ready to fight. There will be mornings when your body aches, when your mind begs for rest, when the silence of your room feels heavier than the weight you must carry. That's where most people stop. But that's exactly where the Stoic begins. Marcus Aurelius dragged himself out of bed and asked, "Was I made for pleasure, or for action?" Discipline is not about feeling like doing it. It's about doing it regardless of how you feel. When motivation fades, discipline steps in like a silent guardian. It doesn't ask for applause. It doesn't care for comfort. It does the work, again and again, because it knows that the path to mastery is built on consistency, not emotion. Think of every great achievement in history. None of it was powered by fleeting motivation. It was carved into existence by disciplined minds who refused to negotiate with their excuses. The Stoic doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He creates them through repetition. He becomes immune to laziness by showing up even when his spirit is empty. That's where the real strength is forged, in those moments when everything in you screams to stop, and you still move forward. Your emotions are passengers. Discipline is the driver. So when your willpower fades and your heart grows tired, remind yourself, this is the proving ground. This is where you separate who you are from who you're becoming. Keep going. The Stoic legacy is built on days like this. Stoic truth number 5. Control what you feed your mind. Just like your body becomes what you eat, your mind becomes what you consume. Every thought, every word, every piece of content you allow in, shapes your inner world more than you realize. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you constantly absorb noise, drama, fear, and nonsense, you will become noisy, fearful, and distracted. But if you seek clarity, truth, and wisdom, that too will become your essence. The Stoic understands that discipline is not just about actions. It begins with what you choose to think about. If your mind is filled with poison, your decisions will reflect that. You cannot expect peace when your mind is a battlefield of cravings, judgments, and irrational thoughts. The Stoic filters everything. He observes the world but does not let the world pollute him. He chooses silence over gossip, truth over comfort, principle over popularity. When you wake up, ask yourself, what thoughts am I feeding today? Am I strengthening my clarity or weakening it? Am I preparing my mind to endure, or allowing it to soften under distractions? The discipline of mind begins with awareness, with vigilance, with a refusal to let anything weak or foolish take root. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. And only you can decide whether it becomes a temple of strength or a playground for chaos. Feed it wisely. Because what you feed it today becomes the person you are tomorrow. Stoic truth number 6. Routine is more powerful than motivation. You wake up and wait for the feeling to move you, but it doesn't come. You sit there wondering why the drive you had yesterday has vanished. This is where most people stop. But not you. Because you understand something they don't. Motivation is fleeting. It is a kind visitor, not a loyal companion. Routine, however, is the backbone of discipline. It does not ask how you feel. It demands your presence, your repetition, your focus. Marcus Aurelius did not write only when inspired. He wrote because it was his duty. Because routine for him was a form of self-respect. He understood that true freedom comes from mastering yourself, not waiting to be moved by your moods. When you act despite resistance, you send a message to your soul that you are in command. Discipline is not about being harsh, it's about being consistent. When you wake up at the same hour, train your body, sharpen your mind, and return to your task regardless of how heavy the day feels, you build a quiet strength. You no longer rely on emotional highs to stay on your path. You trust your system. You trust your steps. And even when the fire inside you dims, your structure keeps you warm. So do not ask for more motivation. Ask for more rhythm. Do not pray for inspiration. Pray for the wisdom to show up without it. Let your routine carry you when motivation disappears. That is the Stoic way. Stoic truth number 7. Control your inner dialogue or be controlled by it. The voice in your head is always speaking. The question is, are you listening blindly or shaping it wisely? Most people are ruled by that voice. It complains, doubts, overthinks. It imagines problems that don't exist and replays wounds that should have healed. But a Stoic knows that the mind is not a cage, it is a tool. And like any tool, it must be sharpened and guided. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to strip away false judgments, to see things as they are, not as they feel. Your emotions are real, but they are not always true. Your fears speak loud, but they are not always right. When you let the voice run wild, it feeds chaos. When you train it, it builds peace. Discipline begins by catching the lie before it becomes a belief. By replacing "I can't" with "I will." By noticing when the voice tells you to quit and calmly answering, "Not today." You are not weak for having dark thoughts. You are powerful for not letting them lead. A Stoic filters thought through reason. You pause, you question, you correct. That's how you take back control. Not by silencing the mind, but by training it to speak truth. Every day you either reinforce fear or strengthen clarity. Choose wisely. Because in the end, the battle is always between your ears. Stoic truth number 8. Your environment is shaping you more than you think. You may believe your discipline is self-made, but look around. The people you spend time with. The noise you consume. The chaos you tolerate. All of it is carving your mind when you're not looking. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But where do your thoughts come from? Often, from your surroundings. If you're around complainers, you start to see burdens. If you're around the undisciplined, your standards slip without you noticing. A Stoic doesn't just build inner walls. He curates his outer world. He chooses silence over gossip, stillness over distraction, friends who sharpen him, not soften him. Your environment is either a gym for your willpower or a graveyard for your growth. You may not control every external factor, but you can choose what you allow into your space. You can walk away from noise. You can unfollow the chaos. You can design your life to support your highest self. Discipline is not just what you do. It's what you allow. Build an environment that reflects the future you want, not the weakness you're trying to escape. Because every moment, your surroundings are either shaping your discipline or stealing it. Stoic truth number 9. You don't need motivation, you need a standard. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fleeting. One bad night, one harsh word, one excuse, and it's gone. But a standard? A standard is a line you don't cross. A way of life you commit to, even when no one's watching. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations to get hyped. He wrote them to remember who he was. He created his own code. When you operate by a standard, you don't wait to feel ready. You act because that's who you are. You train when you're tired. You show up when it's hard. You do what must be done, not what you feel like doing. A Stoic doesn't chase discipline. He becomes the kind of person who doesn't need reminders. Decide who that person is for you. Then live like you've already become him. Your feelings will fluctuate. But your standard, that's the anchor that keeps you grounded. Stoic truth number 10. Discipline is remembering what you truly want. Every time you choose short-term comfort, you trade your long-term peace. Every time you give in to distraction, you lose a piece of who you could have been. The Stoics didn't see discipline as punishment. They saw it as devotion. Devotion to clarity. Devotion to reason. Devotion to the life you said you wanted when you were at your strongest. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself. It's about returning to yourself. The real you. The one buried under excuses, habits, and noise. So the next time you feel like quitting, ask yourself, what do I truly want? Then act like someone who wants it. Not once, but every day. Because in the end, it's not motivation that wins. It's consistency. It's character. It's the quiet daily decision to rise, even when no one is watching. You don't need a perfect plan or the right moment to change your life. You just need to remember who you are when you're at your best. That version of you already knows what to do. You're not here to be ruled by urges. You're here to rule your own mind. The world is full of noise, comfort, and excuses. But none of that can touch a man who chooses discipline every day. So be that man. Rise when it's hard. Focus when it's loud. Show up when it's easier to disappear. Because that's what Stoics do. And you were born for this. Stay stoic and build your Stoic legacy.